Hello and welcome to a Taylor's Tales podcast. This is Chris's Corner. I'm your host, Chris Taylor, and we're back with the boys, the lads, the Star Wars legends. Why don't you all say hello, lads, individually? Let's start with alphabetical order. Alix Young, how you doing?
Yeah, good mate. How you going?
Very well, very well. Johnny and Jordan. I just immediately confuse myself. So I'm going to go with
first.
Too early to figure out, is it?
Hi. Great to be back.
How's it going?
legends, both of you. Thank you so much for being back on. All three of you, you've all been on at least once each, individually and on as a group. So team, squad goals.
Good goals.
I think Joey Diaz said once that if you have three motherfuckers, you can take on the entire world. So you guys are my three motherfuckers.
All you need is three motherfuckers. Love Joey Diaz.
Love Joey Diaz. And so this has inspired the Star Wars lads, and we're back. And I'm starting this podcast off with a classy first question for you. Have you seen the deleted scene of Jar Jar Binks being killed?
No.
What?
I've confused
What is this madness?
So I recently came across something on the internet which I'd never seen before.
Why would they not include that?
Why would they not include that? Exactly. It's Jar Jar Binks being thrown off a cliff after their ship crash landing in Naboo, and he falls to his death.
Oh, was this in the first one?
In the first one, yeah.
I think I've seen that, but it was years ago that I saw that extended. Like it's like an extended deleted scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's
They
when
could
they
have saved
pop
so
up.
much hassle.
Well, no, because
So much hatred.
even if he died, because he's a Sith, he would have come back anyway.
That's true. That would have made him double his powers. My powers have doubled since we last spoke. I love it.
So the last thing you go want is like a load of Jar Jar body clones.
Oh my god! Don't.
There's more of them.
Yeah.
You just go.
The secret is that the whole race is just Jar Jar, but just in different kind of.
That was Darth Plagueis' secret plan all along. He literally just had replica Jar Jars as a way to destroy the entire Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah. A race so stupid that it would just corrupt and destroy itself.
Just because you're able to speak doesn't make you intelligent. That is one of the best quotes to be thrown from a Jedi sass master that is Qui-Gon.
What film is it? It's so dumb, it might just work.
That's Jordan. I forgot what that film. Oh, that's gonna kill me. I'm gonna have to remember.
Clone Wars?
It's so dumb. It might just work. I just immediately think of Obi-Wan's quote where he says, "We're smarter than this. How do we get here?"
Yeah,
It's just the third one. And going from that, and something that I thought we'd have a bit of continuity. Obviously, we spoke about Jar Jar being a Sith Lord in the previous podcast. I thought I'd like bring it to a close there with Jar Jar being thrown off a cliff by a spaceship being falling into the water, which is kind of ironic, seeing as a spaceship can fly. The thing we didn't cover, which we both, all me, Johnny, and Jordan spoke about afterwards, was General Grievous. Like, how does his character affect the Star Wars universe? And I'd love to hear how you guys individually like first saw him, either in the third film or through some of the animated Star Wars sort of episodes.
It was in the film. I don't think he got enough screen time though. I think he could have had something way cooler.
Yeah. I saw him in Revenge of the Sith, but like Jordan says, he just didn't get enough screen time. And now seeing the Clone Wars, the animated series Clone Wars, there's so much of a bigger role for Grievous and how his kind of master plan gets into the cracks of the universe. But
Clone Wars kind of redeemed it, but the films definitely missed the trick.
Yeah,
I totally agree. And I think that Ali, did you ever see, when we first saw the Revenge of the Sith, how cool General Grievous was as a character when we were kids? Like when you're like 8 or 9 years old and you're seeing like, actually we're probably older than that. It's 2005, so 9 or 10. And we saw like this guy with like 4 arms, ability to spin lightsabers. Do you think that's had an effect on some of the creativity Star Wars has come from the third film?
Well, I think it was probably quite interesting. Obviously, in Phantom Menace, they had Darth Maul, and all of a sudden, oh shit, he's got like a double lightsaber thing. Cool. And then then Grievous comes along and he's got like 4. And it's I think definitely it opens up the possibilities, where before it was like, oh, you got 1 lightsaber and that's it. It just gives more possibilities.
100%. Did you I was going to ask all of this as well, for those who've played Force Unleashed, have you all played Force Unleashed at all?
A little bit.
So the idea of like lightsabers being, whatever you want, they can be anything. I think that was truly pushed forward when they had Starkiller have like 2 reverse lightsabers that were like red or blue or whatever you had. Did you guys ever like customize your own on the game?
I don't think I got to doing that.
No, I from what I can remember, I just went for the standard lightsaber. I was always
my PlayStation before I got that far. I got the yellow light.
And and from there, did you guys ever think that Force Unleashed would be a really cool series that could be on like Disney someday? Like having Starkiller as a badass.
Same as all the Knights of the Old Republic stuff. I think that would be a really cool spin-off.
Yeah.
And Johnny, you're reading High Republic, aren't you, at the moment?
I haven't started it yet. I bought it, which is The Light of the Jedi.
Light of the Jedi, right.
Got it here. This is a part of the Hive Republic series. And I just wanted to get it just so I know more about the kind of the height of the Republic and how the Jedi kind of covered their not so much a reign, but their kind of zealot their zealot superpowers over this the rest of the universe. But yeah, I thought it was a good. Apparently, it's a good read, so I'll get to that pretty quickly.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm really intrigued to hear what your opinion on that is, because like I have such an interest in how some of the guys previously before the like Jedi Council that we know and love from the early days was basically formed, and I'd love to see a bit of Yoda, in his prime sort of thing, growing up to become the Grand Master.
See that I would like to see Yoda young.
Yeah.
So like him being trained, because you see him at such a kind of old but not so crippled in the prequels, and then in the original trilogy you see him kind of be this hidden character with a lot of knowledge and a lot of power in the Force, and then he obviously dies away. So you do see some action with him, and him as a very kind of wise, authoritative kind of power in the whole Jedi Order. But seeing that kind of on the other side, well, no, that the other side can be classed as him being in the Swamps of Dagobah, but him being a Padawan or maybe a kind of Jedi Knight, learning as you go. You do see that obviously with Ahsoka Tano, and then how she progresses up into the people now. The wider audience now know her for her role in The Mandalorian, but obviously in the Clone Wars, she was very young, naive, and her whole character arc has just kind of exploded. And I feel like that kind of start to finish character arc could be done really well with a kind of a Yoda series.
Yes, and
it could even be something they do later down the line, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. And I think that you've linked on nicely there. Have you all seen the latest series of The Mandalorian yet?
No, I haven't. I'm still doing everything in chronological order, so
me and Jordan are just sat here just like, we want to tell you about the Star Wars.
We want to talk about it. You guys can talk about it if you want to.
No. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, because it is such a good season and it has so much to give. And I think it's reignited my love for Star Wars as a whole, because of how they've handled that new series.
It's very tastefully done.
Yes, exactly. And going from there, because I didn't want to spoil anything, but what I have seen from what Johnny said there is that the development of characters really does improve what we feel towards these characters in Star Wars. So you guys looking forward to seeing Obi-Wan in his more developed sort of role as Ewan McGregor?
I definitely am. But for some reason, I'm more excited to see Hayden Christensen come back as
me too.
Darth Vader. Maybe you get to see him. Obviously, you get to see him without a mask. Otherwise, they would just get a body double in.
Yeah, 100%.
That aspect.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that aspect of having maybe flashback series or flashback scenes with Obi-Wan and Anakin that you don't necessarily see, because there's such a vast time period from the Phantom Menace to the Clone Wars, and even Order 66. There's such a vast time period that you don't really get to see outside of the films. Obviously, you have the Clone Wars, but having that kind of distinction between Obi-Wan force ghosting or having that connection with Anakin, with Darth Vader, but on a separate kind of plane, would be quite interesting, actually.
I think another reason I'm really excited for that is because after it was rumored he was going to have a role in Rise of Skywalker, and it ended up being like 2 lines.
Yeah,
definitely left wanting more.
100%.
So to get some actual proper screen time off him would be good after all this time.
Yeah.
And one thing I was going to clarify here as well with Hayden Christensen, he got a lot of flack for earlier in the role when it was first released. Do you guys? We've all grown up with Star Wars, and we've grown up with Hayden as sort of Darth Vader. Believe it or not, I know that's hard for some of the original guys who saw the original Star Wars, but Hayden Christensen to us was, the man. Do you think the criticism was sort of a little bit too harsh, or do you have an opinion on how his performance has enhanced the Star Wars universe?
The script was not good.
It was a bit harsh. The script wasn't great. But he didn't write the script. You can only do so much with what you're given, and I think he still did really well with it.
And die-hard fans of something, albeit Star Wars or any other series, Lord of the Rings, people are always going to try and find what's wrong with the films. Like you've got the original, take Lord of the Rings, the whole J.R.R. Tolkien world, for example. You've got people who absolutely slate Peter Jackson's trilogy because they read the books or they saw the original film, and they don't like that aspect. But then you'll have diehard Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings fans, and they'll see the new Amazon series and think, no, that's definitely wrong because this should have happened, because they've had that kind of pre-existing idea. Whereas I tend to kind of stay away from that. I look at an individual aspect and then look at the outer world and see, oh yeah, it's a good film. I hate the Clone Wars film, but I think it's a really good film as a standalone film, and it's a really good film for the context of the Clone Wars and how to get there. But yeah, it all depends on how you view something. So this new Kenobi series people could say, oh, it's a load of rubbish, or I know a couple of people that don't particularly like The Mandalorian.
And who are their names?
Throw
them under the bus now.
No, I won't throw them under the bus. But
I'm getting new dad and new friends.
Yeah. Some of them haven't seen the rest. They've only seen the films, so they haven't seen the wider context, so they don't really know what's happening. Or they have seen it and they don't particularly like it because it's a bit too dark for them. Or there's so many different aspects of cinema and people's opinions of pre-existing films that could influence the development of a character. And also, because of Disney's takeover of Star Wars, it can also happen in that sense. had this pre-existing idea of Star Wars, and they think, okay, it might not be like this because Disney likes to get as much money as possible, but they have this pre-existing idea of Star Wars and think, oh yeah, let's follow this line. Whereas a lot of diehard fans would be like, no, that's definitely wrong. And it's the sequels that have come out, and everyone's got really conflicting ideas. You've got some diehard fans that love the sequels, and you've got some diehard fans that absolutely despise the sequels.
I think story-wise, there's a lot of stuff that, upon more thought and a bit more market research, could have been done way better. But as films, they're still really good.
I really like that the expansion that you did there, both of you, and I think Jordan's point as well, that it's very easy to criticize something, but at the end of the day, you're creating. Like, they are making something for the general public, and I think we forget how much effort is put into creation when it comes down to films. And it's very easy to just sit there and just say, I'm a Star Wars fan, I didn't like this, I didn't like that detail. It really well put from both of you there. I really like that. Taking it on a bit of a lighter note, Jordan from the last podcast clarified that his favorite character is either Boba or Jango. How excited are you now, Jordan, for the fact that Jango has his own series coming up?
Dude, that's going to be so good. When I saw the announcement for that, I just sat and smiled to myself a little bit, you know.
when I saw it, I thought
it's always just been like focused on Force users and stuff, so it's cool to have someone else, a bit more of a minor character, that was still quite influential to the whole storyline still.
Without a doubt. And
but it's nice to see them having their own thing.
You played the Bounty Hunter video game when you were younger. Do you think it's going to have that sort of feel where you're able to control that power?
I hope so.
Yeah. and Johnny,
that game's dark.
Yeah, that game is dark. I'm hoping that it has that darkness in the series in that they're going to put forward.
I reckon there's every potential for it, because I think that was a concern with a lot of people when Disney took over. They thought it was going to become really Disneyfied, but they've actually done a really good job of, for lack of a better way of putting it, keeping it quite violent.
Yeah.
Keeping it violent.
It's what keeps us all here with the blood pumping and ready to watch each week. But I think something that we haven't addressed yet is that, you know, you've said non-Force user there, Jordan. I'm latching onto that a little bit, because when I look at I think it's called Andor, the new series that's coming out as well, that's focused on one of the robot characters. Have you both seen the trailer for that at all?
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Okay.
I haven't seen the trailer either, but I've heard it's like a I was going to say Cluedo then, but it's a very much like what's that TV series?
Building the Rebellion, from what I'm aware.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a crime detective kind of genre-ish off-brand of the main story, which is, I might be wrong, I don't know, I need to look into it a bit more, but having this kind of building the rebellion, maybe having a character or two going out, kind of recruiting people, getting into trouble, trying to recruit more people, and then just the rebellion builds and builds and builds. That kind of aspect will be really, really interesting.
And let's hope there's a little bit of Darth Vader in there to replicate some of that seriously scary hall scenes that we've seen so much in the previous Rogue One, that I feel is lacking a little bit. That fear, that sort of profile that Vader has that we know and love, it's not really shown as much in the sort of prequels or the sequels for that matter, or the originals. I'd love to see Vader have that sort of like scariness, and as you guys have both said, you want that violence to sort of keep us entertained in some way or another.
That's the thing, sort of, in popular culture, even though he's a bad guy, he's still a sort of lovable figure, but you have to sort of remember that he is basically a genocidal maniac.
It's so true. It's so true. And the amount of memes I see on the internet where they have photos of some of the younglings who are featured in Clone Wars, and they they just put above it, they say, "Just remember, Anakin killed these lot too," and it's just absolutely savage. But yeah, moving on from youngling killing, I was going to ask Ali, now that you're back, what did you think of Rogue One? Because you've literally just watched it. And
Yeah.
you know, do you think that it has an effect on the new series?
Yeah, I thought it was quite good. I watched probably an hour and a half of it earlier in the week, and I finished up the last half an hour just before. So I guess the end of it is quite fresh in my mind. No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I think that it seems like a lot of the new movies seem to have got quite a harsh reaction, but I think when you actually watch it and you don't try to draw on the criticisms and the negatives, and you just look at it for what it is as a movie, and you're like, you know what, it was actually quite good. And yeah, I thought the characters were quite good. No, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Only reason I bring that question in now is because obviously that features the great Darth Vader scene that we've just been talking about, and so
yeah.
And that was a nice
That was-
glimpse of what
that
it,
was good.
what it could be like if he got more screen time.
I thought
Exactly.
that, yeah, the way he just comes through, and he's just, yeah, very like malevolent, you know. He's just coming through and nothing is stopping him.
So cool. So
Yeah,
cool.
seeing more of that would be good.
Do you guys remember the so for me, Jordan and Johnny, clarification for the listeners and for Ali, is that we saw it together and we weren't expecting anything. We had no expectations for Rogue One, and I remember us just having a few beers beforehand and just thinking, oh yeah, this will be fun, whatever, you know, and then going in and just sort of blowing, you know, you see the ending, and it's like finding out that Maul was at the end of Solo. It's just wow. Like, what's going on there?
There's definitely an audible reaction in the cinema.
Yes. Yeah.
For that bit.
Which I'm tell you what, lads, I've said this a lot to my family, is that I miss the cinema, and I don't know about you guys, but the current pandemic, you know, taking that away, you know, it's not just the watching of the film, it's the experience of meeting friends and going together.
Yeah.
I have a very conflicting idea with that, actually. Obviously, Chris, you and I have been to the cinema a lot, watching many different films, and my idea of the cinema kind of turned when we went to see A Quiet Place, the first A Quiet Place film, which is a fantastic film, one of my favorite films.
Very good.
But it's essentially it's a silent movie. There's 3 lines of dialogue right in the center of the movie, and you need to have an audience that is quiet. And when we went to see it, the audience wasn't quiet. They were chatting, and it really infuriated me. And I feel like having that cinema experience is all very good with the big screen and the sound and all that, but some shows, i.e. A Quiet Place, and now A Quiet Place 2 that's just come out. I think those types of films I would personally prefer to watch in the comfort of my own home. There's no distractions. I can play the music as loud as I want. I've got a big TV that I can watch it on, and I can have as many snacks as I want as well without paying extortionate, paying extortionate prices. That cinema experience is very, it needs to happen, but having it on a personalized level would be quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, I do agree with you in some way or another. Sounds like the problem there, Johnny, is with people, which is a common thing nowadays.
Yeah.
How strange.
Don't they suck?
How strange.
Oh dear. As always, we bring the class to this podcast by insulting others. No,
This is the way.
This is the way, exactly. But Johnny, you make a very good point, is that some films do require that attention, that your sort of environment around you. ironically, in Canada, when I visited, they do have that experience where you can go into these very VIP sort of cinemas. You can pay some extra and you can make it a whole experience in itself. So you get like dinner, and like you're watching whatever movie you're watching, and there's like 5 other people in the cinema, and that's it.
Keep out the riffraff.
Keep
Yeah.
not to sound too prestigious, but yes, to keep out the old peasantry. Now, I think
It's like watching a movie in your house but paying more money for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Damn it, you found the plot hole in this now.
Yeah, the kink in the armor.
This is literally the vent within the Death Star.
Yeah.
But now that we've spoken about general like environment and watching Star Wars in a cinematic sort of view, do you think the future now is streaming when it comes down to like Disney and everything that's out there at the moment?
I think so.
100%.
I think so.
I think obviously, aside from the entire global climate right now, I think Disney are going to want to steer people towards subscribing to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
They're not going to accomplish that by releasing films like the new Mulan movie that they're releasing on Disney Plus, but they're charging extra. So you're paying for a monthly subscription, and you have to pay another 12, 14 pounds to watch a film. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not paying for Disney Plus at the moment, so I'm not
I will
gonna be
bleep
buying a
this out in
film,
post-production. That will not be. you just admitted to.
I don't care. Disney aren't going to watch this, are they? So
Well, you never know.
Yeah, they might.
yeah.
They might have ears everywhere.
Hi, Disney CEO. Welcome to my crib.
George Lucas.
George Lucas.
No, if George Lucas watches this, then I've got some real answering.
Some real questions.
Well, no, you do get that. You do get that in all walks of life. You get people buying Netflix and then sharing a one account with 4 or 5 different people, and you get that with Disney Plus, Prime, Now TV. And it happens that a friend of mine has Disney Plus, and he's got.
You should have started that with that, because that's not.
Oh yeah, I don't. I don't illegally stream Disney films.
That's what we thought you were saying. Saying
well,
live on
anyway.
the podcast.
No. So it's
Just sat there watching Toy Story.
yeah. No.
Oh my God, wearing the Emperor Palpatine outfit, just literally watching Toy Story.
I put my cloak on.
Do it.
Do it.
Oh mate,
how uncivilized.
How uncivilized.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think we've just taken.
You do get that aspect of sharing accounts, and I am one of those people that has shared an account.
Family
plan. I'm not. Yeah, going back to my original point, I'm not going to be spending an additional sum of money to watch a film that I'm already going to pay for.
Yeah.
If Netflix did that, they can jog on. Well, if anyone.
I think if they did release a Star Wars film or something that you did have to pay a bit extra for, say if going to the cinema, just obviously when we're allowed to, or just go to someone's house. One person foots the bill, one person brings the beer, one person brings the snacks. Just make a big night in of it rather than splashing out extra, going to the cinema and paying cinema prices for everything.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think that what you've just talked about there, Jordan, as well, is something that kind of excites me a little bit, because it does remind me of outdoor cinemas. Yeah, snacks. Yeah, 100%. But I like the idea that people can become ingenuitive in their own right because of the pandemic. So people do stuff to, better themselves based off this environment. And the government's not making it easy for anyone to really do that, but at the same time I'm hoping that good things can come out of it. So this isn't really a Star Wars question, but for you guys, how are you dealing with life at the moment? Do you have anything that's keeping you going, or anything Star Wars related that's keeping you happy in these strange times?
Bike rides, watching Netflix, playing drums, and playing Doom.
A Doom classic.
Well played. I like that answer.
It's so good.
Yeah, nice.
Ali, you've got a family to keep you busy, haven't you? So
Yeah, absolutely. Very busy with family and like gym. Gym is just provides such mental clarity. And then yeah, I've
Well,
been
you're
getting.
looking a bit hench.
I try.
just everybody get out the guns. Just like, ooh.
yeah, I'm
yeah.
not going to be doing that. I've actually missed my. I've been so focused on getting assignments finished and submitting work for uni that I've just not been in the gym for about 3-4 weeks. So,
Do you hear that, Ali? It's
I know.
excuses.
I need a little iPad or something just in the office I'm in at the moment, just playing a 10-hour loop of Shia LaBeouf just saying, do it, just do it. And then that'll get me motivated to go back into the gym.
Who's gonna carry the boats?
And the logs. Oh dear. Just all you need is Goggins, Johnny. That's it. That's all you need. Just need Goggins. So.
I feel like
Hero.
I need a middle ground first. Goggins is fantastic and he's very motivational, but he's a machine. And because he's a machine, I need that middle ground to be like, okay, I can't go that far, but maybe I can go this far.
I like that. I like that.
A half Goggins.
Yeah, a half. Yeah.
Hi, my name's
Goggins
Chris Taylor. I'd like to submit for the half Goggins application.
You already do with your running and your gym sessions. I just need
Yeah, it's true.
I need a something. You just to text me every now and again and be like, "Go in the gym, you fool."
Oh my god.
Just keep it in the group chat. Just have like a weekly check-in. Like, Johnny, have you gone to the gym this week?
Yeah. I've had my weekly chocolate bar, if that counts.
So, Jordan, you make me sound so fucking pompous. Just like, have you done it yet? Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, I just need you to come to my house, prod me with a stick, and be like, "Oi, fatty, get in the gym."
That's not how lockdown
Be
works.
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful that we're in a lockdown, so you don't do that.
2 meter stick, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll just have a stick made that's built from Wiltshire all the way up until Berkshire. We'll just prod you.
Yeah, a 70-mile stick that just doesn't flex at all.
Oh my god. Anyway, Ali's clearly stated what he's using at the moment too, and so is Jordan. Jordan, I love the Doom game is mint. Johnny, what is yours? Your assignments. You've said about Ali having a family. You've got a degree going on at the moment, mate. What's going on there?
Yeah, but degrees compared to having a family going on is nothing.
It's still tough, man.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Work.
There's a lot of work to do, but I do find solace in. I do like my downtime. You know, I like my downtime. I like watching films. I like playing games, and that whole escapism aspect has been really important to me over the past 2-3 weeks, because I've had to submit a couple of assignments in for the week just gone. I was working 12-14 hour days just to get everything in and to a standard that I'm really happy with. So having that kind of time to switch off. I've been watching the Clone Wars, which is really good because they're like 20-minute episodes. So every break that I have, I'm just like, yeah, switch one of those on. And also going back into gaming, playing a lot of Apex and a lot of Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is a classic game. But yeah, that whole escapism aspect is really important.
What's your setup?
Do you mean the PS4 or the PS2 one?
Oh,
Yeah,
no, this is
a good question.
This is a good question, but yeah, seeing as my dad sold my PS2, yeah, no, I'm playing the most recent one, the PS4 one.
Okay. They've improved that though. There's a lot of updates done by EA, and I think they've earned the community's trust again, even if they did have coin-based bribery going on at the beginning.
Yeah, the first Battlefront, the first remake, I should say, done by EA was not a good film. Not a film, not a good game. But the one that was most recently released, the second remake, was fantastic. I fortunately got it for free when PlayStation did their Star Wars free game, or it was a game of the month or something like that, and they got it on PSN for free. So I was a bit late to the game, but my goodness, it's a fantastic game.
Do you have a favorite setup or a favorite character that you like to play with?
I do like playing as Luke, especially on heroes versus villains.
Absolute classic.
I do play Galactic Conquest.
Yes.
Is that the Galactic Conquest or Galactic Assault or something like that? Where I jump into the Republic era and I'm just a clone running around Geonosis, and I just love that. That's fantastic.
I think a lot of the scenery and the settings are really cool in that game. They've paid a lot of attention to a detail, and even really far into the background you can look, and there's little things from the films that you wouldn't otherwise notice.
Yeah, the graphics are incredible in the new Star Wars Battlefronts. They are. That is something they do really good.
100%. And please raise your hand if you've accidentally killed a few Ewoks during your time as Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah,
totally accidentally.
Yeah, accidentally. I think that you guys are totally right. I think that the graphics is really improved, and also the gameplay. I'm a big fan of the fact that you've got these huge, basically 40-player, Battlefront ability to take on entire clone armies versus droids, and I love the integration of the new, even some of the newer heroes and newer villains. Having Kylo Ren on the battlefield is kind of interesting. I don't know about you guys, but as a character, even if people do sort of criticize the sequels, I do find them interesting.
I thought Kylo Ren was a cool character.
Yeah,
a bit emotional, but it's cool.
I feel like his character could have been explored in such such more detail. That's not the right word.
We know what you meant.
Yeah. So in such more detail, I feel like the whole aspect behind his cracked lightsaber
Mask.
gem, and that kind of whole reason why he's torn between the light side and the dark side, that kind of aspect.
Even if they just spent 5 minutes of the film clearing it up a little bit, it would be good.
Yeah. And these sequels, I feel there's so many loopholes, so many kind of loose ends that they just need to tie up. And I feel like I've said this before, that instead of having a trilogy but having a 6-part, they could just, instead of bouncing between planets and trying to cover everything in 10 seconds, they could have just really slowed down, really explained everything. And it's a shame, but
you know what? I think they can do that though, bud. I think that with the new series, with Django and Obi-Wan and with The Mandalorian, they've proven that people are more invested in these TV series with the greater detail and the ability to develop characters.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way it's going anyway, because they can just delve into it so much more.
Exactly.
Because when you've got a film, you have to be fairly concise with it. Otherwise, you'd end up with 3-hour films like Lord of the Rings.
And we've all seen how that goes when I talk about it. Anyway, I think we've lost Ali.
We've lost Ali.
No, we've done it well. I thought we were going to lose you first there, Jordan, if I'm honest, but there you go. Technical issues. I was going to ask you guys this anyway. This isn't really a Star Wars question, but it always does relate into it. You've talked about how you're keeping yourself busy and all that. Is there anything in the pandemic that you've done or you've found yourself doing that you think you'll continue to do even after we all go back to normal?
I don't know, really. I haven't really done anything during the pandemic.
Stopped blowing out candles on birthday cakes. I don't know why people, now thinking about it, we were such unhygienic animals. You're just slobbering all over a birthday cake because you're blowing out the candles and everyone eats it, especially at kids' parties. Oof, yeah, definitely not.
That just speeds up herd immunity.
Yeah. Survival of the fittest.
You've got some gemmy little brat spraying his spit all over the cake, and everyone has a slice. You know, whatever he's got, we're all going to be good for it now.
Oh my God. Jesus. Right. I was not expecting that sort of answer from you there, Johnny. I'll be honest with you, bud. I was expecting something la-di-da, but clearly not la-di-da enough.
Yeah.
Jeez. Right. Oh, I think laptop has died from Ali, so we do know what's happened to him. So he's probably just in the process of you shooting up the charger. Exactly. So that's where he's gone. For those listening who can't see Ali disappearing from the screen. Moving on from there, I was gonna say, like, you guys seem to have dealt with stuff like quite well. Johnny, you've been getting on with your work. Jordan, you've adapted super quickly to like going into your cars and doing work that way. So I'm extremely pleased for you both in the sense that you've dealt with it very well. And I hope you continue to do so over the coming period, because it seems like it's a never-ending sort of arduous journey we're all going on. So go from there, linking it back to Star Wars. I don't know how we can, but I think a good way to put it is the Empire's reign over the galaxy for a long period of time, and the rebellion growing from that. Do you think something similar could happen in real life one day?
Yeah, except the rebellion we have is people going out without a mask on.
Doesn't sound so good.
So they're the bad guys here.
So it's difficult. Currently, in the current climate, you do have people, like Jordan says, you have people rebelling against sound scientific knowledge, but it's not. People do view the rebellion or rebellions in general as as the person who's doing the right thing. But sometimes you do have rebellions in history you've seen that aren't doing the right thing. It's more of a I want this, I want that kind of aspect.
Yeah. If you talk the no more lockdown crowd and the anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, and it's very unsafe, or they're very self-centered in their thinking, in their ideology, in their kind of I don't think this is going to work for me, whereas there's a lot of people that the lockdown does help. There's a lot of, including the NHS. And we just need to work together on this.
I like that. It's a positive way of putting it, because, I phrased the question in the sense that the Empire is the government and the rebellion is, us individuals fighting against it. It's not necessarily the case in some
cases. You could see the government, some people could see the government as the Jedi Order, and then in a positive aspect. But I think the key thing for any viewpoint that you need to do is you need to challenge the people in charge, so they're always doing the right thing. And one thing, I'm going to go into a political rant now, but
I'll cut you off right there. Moving on now. But I was going to say, actually, that links really well to a really specific piece in Star Wars, in the sense that the Jedi Order became blind to the Sith. Do you think that Qui-Gon and Anakin were representations of what you just described, in the sense that they were trying to keep the Jedi Order on their toes? They were trying to make them aware of the threats that were secretly among them. Do you think that there needed to be more characters like that?
Even linking it to Star Wars, you do have, because there's no challenge, a visible challenge, you do have the Separatists, but then you have the Sith behind that. I think what people kind of need to realize is that as soon as if you pick one side and the other side wins, it's better for everybody if we just work together, even if that's on the other side. So having the Jedi Order or the Republic against the Separatists, even if they clash on certain views, it would be a lot better if everyone worked together, and then you wouldn't have this galactic war going on.
Very, very, very intriguing. Jordan, do you have any point to make on that at all?
I was just thinking post Order 66, if Separatists and the Republic actually just thought, you know what, they're doing us in here, and they teamed up.
Yeah,
it might have been all right. Might have gone very differently.
It's a very good point in the sense that you both made a similar point in the sense that they're one in the same. They want the same thing, which is kind of.
By the time Vader got to Mustafar, I think it was a bit late for that.
Dude, that robot dude at the end of the table must have been terrified. It's just like the last remaining separatist at the end is just like, oh god, what have I done?
Well, someone did go power up a bunch more Joy Factory somewhere, didn't they? After that.
Oh yeah. Oh mate, that's a good point. I'm trying to think actually. Didn't he remain on Mustafar as well though? Like
possibly, yeah. Because I know someone kept the cloning facility going as well, didn't they?
Yeah. The Camino got shut down, but some escaped and then set some on a snow planet.
Okay. Because
I'm sure they touched on it in the original Battlefront 2 storyline as well. There was something about an extra cloning facility or something.
That's intriguing because I knew that Geonosis was the original droid manufacturing, and then it just got like sent to loads of different places. And as you said, Jordan, they have the storyline that goes to like the different manufacturers to try and shut them down. One thing that have you guys seen in the story behind the clones is that the clones get merged into the Empire. Have you seen that at all? Yeah. Do you think that did you like obviously the clones have a little bit more of a character because of the animated series, and then within the Empire you've got just the sort of soldiers, there's less character. Do you think that plays a big part in why we love the clones so much?
I think because obviously the clones are the good guys, we're supposed to like them anyway. But if they ever showed anything from the Empire side, then you're going to see stories of normal people because they just recruited more or less normal people, sometimes kids or whatever. But if we followed their story, then we'd probably form a similar bond with them in that way, rather than just thinking them as bad guys who can't hit anything.
So true.
Obviously, they're faceless as well. You never see a stormtrooper without his mask on. With the clones, we saw their face a lot.
Yes, yeah, that's very true. Johnny, did you feel the same way at all?
Yeah, I did. There's a lot to think about, really, and it's all about perspective. Going back to perspective, you could. I remember this Clone Wars episode that was really kind of prominent when I was watching it, and Padme Amidala went to see her friend in a planet that was owned by the Separatists, and to them, the Separatists were the good guys and the Republic were the bad guys. So it's all about a point of perspective where, for them, Dooku was helping them and trying to make them prosper in a world that the Jedi Order were the bad guys and they were trying to do bad things. So having that, and I love that Dave Filoni did that, because you do start to think about, so what are the clones thinking when they go over to the Empire? Are they still clones, or do their minds get wiped and all that sort of stuff? But do they have a personality that they think, is this the right thing to do?
Yeah,
some of them did. That's how they ended up
dead.
Well, dead, yeah, or being cast away a bit.
Yeah, and I think the I think it was the 501st were the first Legion to be merged into the Empire, because obviously they were Darth Vader.
Straight with Vader.
Yeah, which I always thought the 501st were the coolest sort of like Legion, even if they were child killers.
Man, sometimes you just got to do it.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Jeez. Going from there, actually, I think that's one thing that J.J. Abrams got right in the 7th film is that Finn, being a stormtrooper, sort of provided, oh, they are just normal people. Like they're just like soldiers who have like fears. And if you look at the originals, the stormtroopers are just like, they're soldiers. There's no personality.
Drones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that it was Rise of Skywalker as well, wasn't it? They found like a unit of deserters.
Yes, exactly.
And then they ended up helping.
Yeah. It's fascinating because I always think that these little small details, they provide us with a little bit more love for the story and a little bit more love for the characters, and overall just providing the actual movie with some like, oh, if that person dies, I actually care, you know what I mean? Like if a stormtrooper dies, we didn't really care. We were just like, oh yeah, the heroes defeated them, like whatever.
And I think
that's the thing
actually...
with go ahead.
No, go on, Jordan.
I was going to say with the stormtroopers, you see them get mowed down left, right, and center. But with the clones, so you've got Rex or Cody or any of the others, you sort of form a bit of an attachment.
Yeah, bond. And I feel like you've kind of hit a nail on the head on that aspect. With the prequels, you get to bond with the characters. Although they're not, you don't bond as well as in the original trilogy, but you get to bond with the characters and follow that through. And I personally feel like in the sequels, in the 7th film, in the 8th film, 9th film, you don't get to bond with the characters. And I feel like because you do have that detachment, you don't like the film because you're like, oh, this is just a person that's just running off. And I feel like they done that so well with Rogue One because you do get to bond with the characters and do get to see that character progression and that character arc that you want to kind of connect with.
Yeah, very well put from both of you there. I'm really enjoying these answers actually at the moment. And straight off there from like adding to what you've just said there, Johnny, I think that some of the things about a good story is the characters themselves and actually being able to relate to them and actually being able to feel what they're feeling. And Jordan, when you said about Rex and Cody, is I think the reason why we love them so much is because you're like, yeah, I'd do that. If I was in their place, I'd be like, and the clone trooper who punched the droid, like, or the clone trooper with the massive machine gun just firing off, like, for the Republic. You're like, yes, that's what I'm about. That's it. So, yeah, love that. Love those answers right there. Guys, I've actually not got any more questions written down. I've run out, so I think that's probably a good place to end the podcast there. And I'm really hoping we can do this again and keep developing questions and maybe even just have a chat. These strange times offer the opportunity to just get together and have a laugh. Why not? And talk about Star Wars.
Why not?
Until we can get back to the cinema, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then ruin the film for others.
House.
or around someone's house, yeah. I need to get a projector because this room would probably be the best for getting everyone in. And that'd be pretty sick. Definitely. So, thank you so much, lads. As always, legends, both of you. Really, really appreciate it. And thank you for listening to those out there. This has been a Taylor's Tales podcast. This is Chris's Corner. I've been your host, Chris Taylor. And that's been Jordan Green and Jonathan Edwards. Thank you, lads.
Thank you.
Ciao.